Vidhi and today with Science Vidhi, we are here with Dr. Priyanka Varma, who is a clinical psychologist consulting at Holy Family and Global Hospital, as well as at the Thought Company. And we are here to discuss something that's very important, but at the same time usually ignored and not taken too much into consideration. So yes, let's talk about mental health. So ma'am, we have a few questions for you, and we would appreciate if you could help us understand the answers for the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So firstly, I would like to ask. We can easily make out if someone is suffering from any physical illnesses. We see those signs and symptoms like fever, vomiting, fatigue, and whatnot. But how do we differentiate, or how do we catch those signs of mental illness, and how do we just comment if someone's suffering from any mental illness?
So I think what makes physical illness easy to identify is the fact that they are physical in nature. We can obviously see them. Mental illness is difficult because we can't see them. These are the subtle changes which occur within us over a period of time. The three go-tos for me when I try to diagnose a condition or understand somebody is their sleep, appetite, and third is their feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, or worthlessness. Now, if a person is either sleeping too much, that is significantly more than 8 hours, or too less, that is significantly less than 6 hours, that's my first point to identify how well they are doing. Second is their appetite. Either they're eating too much or too little. Now, it's either end of the spectrum where we're looking for extremes with sleep and appetite. And the third thing is that there is some sense of cognitive difficulty, whether they're not able to function throughout their day with the same sort of coping style or behavior they previously had. That is, a deadline will cause significant amount of disturbance within their life. They are not able to cope with it, they're not able to comprehend it, or not use the current skill set they have to adjust with the situation. Most commonly noted in depression is feelings of helplessness, where they feel they cannot go ahead with life. Hopelessness, where they have no hope for the future. They cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. They believe that this is the end of it. And third is worthlessness, when their own self-concept is breaking down. They do not believe that they can go ahead or they're of value in life. Depression and anxiety are the most commonly noted mental health concerns, and these symptoms are most commonly noted in both of them.
That answers well. Thank you. Okay, a second question for our viewers is, why do you think mental health is perceived differently than physical health, or why do you think it's perceived as less important than physical health?
Well, like we mentioned earlier, we can see the signs of physical health. We can see a broken bone, we can see the high fever thermometer. With mental health, we can't. People are more likely to mask their symptoms. It's funny, but people who suffer from depression will always be the ones smiling the most in the room, or laughing the loudest and the hardest at the jokes, or cracking those jokes. So we tend to cover up our symptoms, we tend to cover up the signs. Why we do it is because society has not accepted the fact that things can go wrong emotionally or mentally. Society expects us more often to have it all sorted out. Our family does, our friends do. And why they do this is because of the stigma associated with mental health. The stigma comes from the fact that there has been unreliable information out there about mental health, like babas and sadhus, and incorrect words being associated with people who have schizophrenia or bipolar or depression. And this was from the old Hollywood or Bollywood movies, and even right now sometimes the media does not have a proper understanding of it, adding to the stigmatization of mental health.
Okay, so people often call a person visiting a psychologist or psychiatrist as a mad person. And so what do you want to comment on it?
Well, I feel that's really unfair. I think people want to understand the definition of the word mad or are not responsibly using it. People who visit psychologists or psychiatrists may have emotional disturbance, and I think all of us go through at one point or the other in our life. I don't think any one of us has ever had a smooth life where we've not had a feeling of feeling low or feeling disturbed or has lost sleep over something. So using terms like this is unfair not only to our friends, society, but even to ourselves, because we're not allowing ourselves to be human. Being human means I allow myself to feel. Being human means I allow myself to empathize with somebody else is going through. Using these terms just cuts off lines of communication, which is unique to us being humans.
Do you think such sentences which are used by the society affect anyone who would wish to seek help but they don't? And how do you think it affects?
So I think it affects most people who come for therapy. Till date, I get calls where people asking me, but if I come, doesn't mean I'm crazy, doesn't mean I'm mad. How will it help me? Is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, just today I got a call with these questions. It does affect them because, again, I keep saying that people don't know what mental health is about. They don't understand that all of us go through emotional disturbance and it's okay to do so. So when our media or our friends discount people's feelings, discount the emotions they're going through, it makes it difficult for them. We want to live in a society where people accept us. We want to accept ourselves. But when we are creating labels and stigmatizing those labels, it becomes a big roadblock, a barrier to accept.
So when I know that I'm suffering from any mental health issue, what will be the first step that I would take?
My first step is to go and speak to a mental health professional. Find somebody within your area, or if you're not comfortable within your area, go and find a person you're comfortable speaking to. Choose an age group, a gender, location that you're welcome within. Do not go and Google it, because everything you get on Google is not 100% reliable and often confuses the viewer, the reader with it.
So you think talking out with friends about your mental issues is real?
I do believe talking with your friends is an important thing, but again, I believe that you must first have friends who understand and accept. If you have a support system like that, by all means go and speak to your friends. If you're not sure about your support system, go and speak to a mental health professional. There's no harm you spend 15-20 minutes or spend an hour. Go speak to somebody who's a professional, so they know what they're advising, know what they're suggesting, and above all, you will feel safe. The thing that we all need to remember is, as mental health professionals, it is our duty and our responsibility to keep everything discussed between the four walls of that room. Nothing that is said goes beyond that. And therefore, we create and help create a safe place for sharing. So at times I've noticed that people struggle to talk to their friends about these things because they feel their friends don't understand. Also, they want to uphold an image in front of their friends as being this particular type of person, where they don't struggle with these things. So at times, you may not find your friends or your family as the number one or your go-to people for this thing. It's okay. You rather go to a professional, speak it out, get some clarity, and then see where you want to go from there.
So the past few years, has the number of cases increased or decreased? Or is there a specific type of case that you find is arising the most?
Okay, so the number of people coming to seek mental health has definitely increased over the past few years. One is because there's more awareness, there's more acceptance, and three, there's more accessibility for it. Previously, people weren't aware that these were the signs of schizophrenia. They would rather their first go-to person be like a sadhu or like a baba, and they would think they could be cured with some magic formula. Reality is very different. We need to go and actually seek proper medical, backed by proper research help for such cases. Because of that, people are now understanding that, hey, you know what, this is a mental health concern, I can go and speak to someone in a safe place for it. Two is that I noticed that as much as the media may have tainted the image of mental health, we have some very responsible individuals out there like Deepika Padukone or Alia Bhatt's sister Shaheen Bhatt, going out there and speaking about mental health and saying it's okay to go out and share. We've gone through this, it's okay if you have suffering, there is a support system with it. That has created a huge shift amongst young adults, now willing to go out and speak to someone. They are the ones picking up the phone saying, hey, can I get an appointment? I want to go and speak to somebody about it. Because of which I think parents